Alright, good afternoon. Almost afternoon, whatever. Alright, so this is my 2005 Chevy Colorado. This is z71, 4-wheel drive. Has a 2-inch lift in the front. There's supposed to be one in the back. With an add a leaf, but it needed the original leaves anyways, so I just had them replicate what was on there, because I went through 2 sets of leaves. The originals that came with the truck got destroyed, and the previous ones also got destroyed. I overloaded this with about 3,000 pounds of stuff. Don't ever do that with a Chevy Colorado. You'll thank me later. And fucked me sideways as a piece of cardboard fell off. So that's that. So really, add a leaf. When I had to do the add a leaf, I didn't care too much for the extra 2 inches in the back. However, I did get it for more functionality. So to me, it would be more like a functional lift. Sort of like a leaf spring helper in a way, so I just had to try to replicate what was on there, and their version doesn't give it really any lift, but we'll see how it functions. I may go get longer shackles, for the back if I choose to do so. So we're gonna crawl under the back. We're going to see that everything was done. I'm going to get an idea of why these trucks have the issues. Alright, so you can see the new leaves. See how they're more or less supposed to smile. These are just stock replacements for the add a leaf. Like I said, this version of the add a leaf isn't really giving it lift, but we'll see how it functions. I'm more worried about functionality for this. If you can see up there, you can see the rear shock extensions, so I can use stock replacement shocks. Might be kind of hard with the lighting, but that's what was done. You can also kind of see some of the issues these trucks face, which is rust. That's another project of mine. So, yep. This is a New England truck. Looks like they didn't put the e-brake back on in the correct position. But you can get a rough idea of what's going on. Yeah. Go take a look at the rear differential. You can see the ring guard I ordered. I also had a Diff, which is the seller. Badland Industries recommends. So I did. He also sold the shock extensions. For the back. These shocks are pretty much destroyed anyway, so I'm gonna see how it behaves after a few thousand miles. I don't think these are going to lift themselves up, so I may just go with a longer shackle. So we'll see how that pans out. That's that for the back. Alright. You also see I have a CB radio on there. This is the front. I know in my previous video, I measured. And it was about 25 inches. Badland Industries, which sold a lot of the other additional components which are in here, as well as new upper and lower control arms. Recommends no more than 24. Now it's got all new parts. I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see them, but I'm going to take a look and see what I can. Okay, you can see the ball joint spaces. Not sure how well you'll be able to see the diff drop. You can see the ball joint spaces on this side. Alright, might be able to see the diff drop that was installed. I'm going to try to do a front angle view of this. Again, mind you, this is sitting about 25 inches from when I measured. But again, you know, things will settle in because this is all new components. So things are going to settle in eventually. I'd like to get bump stocks to the front as well. So that's that. It's got a new steering rack. Let's see the diff drop. So you might be able to see it up there. You can see the diff drops. You know, the differential's hanging a little lower. And I also got the front end ring, also sold by Badland Industries. When I first had the leveling kit put on the front, the only things in the market were, you know, the torsion keys. Still messy under there because they just did all the work. So you're gonna see a little residual drip. That's okay. They did a fuck ton of work. We got the diff drop. So they may replace the other tie rod end. I'm not sure if they did that one. That one looks like it's still the original one. Oddly, this one they put on doesn't have a grease fitting. That one does. Yeah, so again, you know, we'll have to see how everything pans out. So you saw the ball joint spaces. I'm going to try to see if I can get a better angle of that diff drop. It's not going to be guaranteed. But you can see the ball joint spacer there. If I give myself a push up, you can see the diff drop. That lowered it about an inch. We'll have to see how all that pans out. Because, you know, like I said previously, the only things for this truck back then were the torsion keys and the nozzles, but companies are starting to try to upgrade that. You know, it's only supposed to be a 2-inch lift. My previous video, I measured from center of the fender to center of the hub. I was reading about 25 inches. But again, this is all new components, so you know, I'm sure eventually everything's going to settle in, and you know, because you have to dismantle it, it was triggering the ABS sensor. I went through that before when they did the Apples, but it eventually fixed itself. So I'll keep an eye on that. It seems to handle fine. Yeah, so that's all that. So all these components, minus the keys and the air leaf, which in this case didn't give it any lift. But again, I'm more concerned about functionality rather than lift with the rear, because the other leaves were destroyed. And that one did give it a substantial lift, whereas this doesn't. Anyhow, obviously the tires are relatively new, so I'm actually going to plus size these to 33s when I wear these out, so I'm just going to drive it and just see what happens. I'll talk to you.